So in our last video, we were hanging out in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, where we found a nice little speakeasy down on Flagler Ave on Beachside. Visited Tony and Joe's to have a painkiller, enjoy some beach time, and then we took a leisurely cruise up the Intercoastal to Daytona Beach, where we hung out at Halifax Marina, crashed a party, and took care of some long-needed little maintenance projects before we get ready to go up north for the summer. In this video, we get a little land time with friends, and then we head back to the boat for some long needed projects, some reupholstery. Lori does a pizza review from a local coal-fired pizza restaurant. We then get back into the engine and do some more engine work. We cryovac some of our supplies to head up north for the summer. I get hosed again in the engine room, and then we find we're taking on water. Are we just leaking, or are we sinking? Have you ever dreamed of selling it all and cruising into the sunset? Well, that's exactly what we did. It's no fun going it alone though, so why don't you join us for the ride? So our friends Lisa and Dom own an Airbnb on the west coast of Florida, and it was unoccupied for the weekend, so they were nice enough to invite us over. And it was sure nice to get off the boat for a couple days. I took the opportunity to cook my specialty.
Wow, what's going on here?
Dinner is served.
Oh, what do you have?
For the short rib risotto.
And mushroom risotto, I think, right?
Yes.
Ooh, looks fab.
Looks delicious. Been smelling it all day.
I know, right? It smelled like stew in here all day. Honey, what we got going on here? Second plate for Lisa?
We are cleaning it.
Oh, we got a nice short rib piece of meat. Lisa, I hope you like a nice big piece of meat.
Big piece of meat.
My husband makes the best risotto.
Back at the boat, we had some projects to do, but this one is something I outsourced. We have a captain's chair made by Stid, and it's a very expensive chair. Actually, it came with the boat, and it needs to be reupholstered. And I called the company, and they said that they could do it for $2,800, and that was like 2 years ago. And I said, well, let me check somebody locally instead. And we found this lady in Stuart, Florida, and she did this reupholstering job for $600. So basically a quarter of the cost. I am more than happy with the results. So we're on a little adventure here in Daytona Beach to Sam's Coal-Fired Pizza. I was out of town and Lori got it with some friends, and she's been raving about it. And Lori doesn't rave about much. So I'm like, all right, we have to try this pizza. Is it even gonna compare to pizza we get back home? I don't know. I have my doubts. But Lori did tip me off that Dave Portnoy, Pizza Raider Wizard, rated this place back in 2020 and it got an 8.4. That is an excellent score. So it's definitely worth checking out. So, we'll see. It had a rather interesting location just off the entrance to the beach. I don't know, looks like a kind of touristy location to have good pizza. Good looking pie. All right, Lulu, one bite. Everyone knows the rules.
I've already had it once before, so you should be the person to do it.
Good. How would you rate it? 1 to 10.
8.4.
Look at that pie. All right. Sam's Coal-Fired Pizza, Daytona Beach. So we're in the engine room today. Standing in the engine room. And One of the maintenance items here is there's a little actual air cleaner. It's right here, it's metal, and I've already taken off. There's a little hose here with the clamp. I've got to put the clamp back on, and the hose, not sure exactly what it does, but it's like a breather hose to the engine, and I believe this is the turbocharger here, and so the air's got to feed the turbocharger, and it was essentially covered with a little bit of oil and dirt and grime, and you can see a little honeycomb there. It's clean now. I took some Dawn, cleaned it out. Basically, there's a snap here, a clip, and one down in there under here. And what I did was I unsnapped those, undid this little hose. It comes out for cleaning. It's a regular maintenance item. It's one that I haven't done yet. This is the first time, but Jerry and Adventura showed me how to do it, so we're good to go. So yeah, as I was working on cleaning out that air cleaner there, I split the hose, which is right down there. The hose wraps to the front of the engine. It's held on here by this little bolt or stud that comes off the engine, and I just took that off. And then over to the front of the engine, curls around here. This little clamp, I have to take this off. Now, apparently, I can't just go replace this hose because this end here is wider than the other end. It's been stretched out. It's kind of an OEM hose. I don't know, maybe I could have found one at an auto parts store, but you know, I'd rather spend nearly $100 to get one shipped to me that fits. I'm not screwing around with it, but I don't know exactly. I guess this is probably the valve cover here, and I think this is a breather line from that little air cleaner all the way here. I know someone will correct me or should correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just air. It's not under pressure or anything, so I don't think it's a big deal to unclamp each side and replace it. It's not like oil or coolant or anything's going to come out, so pretty easy. But you can see how this one flares out right here, and the other end does not. So it's definitely a kind of a proprietary hose for Yanmar. Alright, so I got the old hose out. It's here. New hose to the right, and you can see how this end here is much wider than the other end that connects to the what I'll call the air cleaner. So it's definitely the right size hose. Just have to bend it around the engine there, but we're good to go to reattaching it. So got the clamp off here and just basically loosening this. The hose is rigid, it's old. It actually came off pretty easy, thankfully. So another day, another boat project here in Daytona Beach. We're at the marina. We've noticed recently there's a leak in a forward compartment, and we thought it might be happening after rain or when we were washing the deck. So still trying to slightly diagnose what the issue is. So this is the hatch to the forward compartment, and there's a vent on top right here, and we thought maybe it's leaking through there, but I closed the vent and nothing comes through. I opened the hatch here and I checked the seal all around it, and there doesn't seem to be any water leakage there, but if you look down there, maybe in the bottom, you could see the puddle of water at the bottom. So that seems to be the problem. So yeah, we're down in the forward hatch now where this water is, and I actually went down with the pinky and did a little taste test, and it's fresh water. So I know it's not salt, so that's, I guess, a good thing. So these big hoses here are sanitation hoses, and that's the holding tank. So yeah, obviously I don't want to taste the water too many times, but I knew it was clear, and it's been clear for a while, so I knew it wasn't waste water. Basically, this line here is salt water, and there's a pump here, and then it comes all the way up here to a deck fitting, this deck fitting up here, and that's what we use for saltwater washdown for our anchor chain. When it's all muddy and we pull it up, we hook a hose in here. So that's salt water. These lines here are fresh water, and they go to the hot water heater, which is behind me, but none of these fittings are leaking. There's no, they look like some drip down the wall here, but it was old. This here is a vent hose. I mean, this could be leaking at the bottom. But all of this is basically salt water or wastewater. Nothing is from the top. This is from the back of the shower head. That's not leaking. This isn't leaking. But let me see down here. Again, this is the strainer from the seawater that comes into the pump, then we use for the wash down. If I move this hose here, oh, see that squirting? That is the problem. Huh. Well, it's definitely leaking, but it's fresh water, and that's salt water. So my guess is from the deck fitting up here. When it rains or we wash, this is really loose, it doesn't seal. When we wash the deck, as Lori did this morning, when she cleaned up Pancake's mess, water comes through here, fresh water comes down the line here, and there's some holes at the bottom of this hose. So it looks like I have some extra hose here. Maybe I could chop it off here and reconnect it. These look rusty because they've been in, or there's some kind of salt water leakage on the other side of this pump here. So I gotta take this off and try and get this hose back on here. Otherwise I'll be getting another hose. I should probably replace the whole thing. Even the top here where it connects to the fitting on the deck here is all rusty. Nah, it's gonna turn into a bigger project, I'm sure. Always does with something like this, especially with these old fittings that have rust all over them. So I'm gonna try and take these clamps off and pull the hose, cut the end right here and attach it as a quick fix. Clean up this water, and we'll see if then that fixes the problem. Because again, I don't think it's coming from the shower. This is the shoot, what do you call it? The handle, the shower handle, with the hot and cold water, and here's up to the shower head. So none of that's leaking. So it's got to be, there's definitely holes in this hose, and it's definitely what it's coming from, at least part of it. So we'll start there. So I cut the hose here. A lot of fresh water leaked out, and the way this, it's on some kind of connector here, adapter, and the way it works is this is a little locking lever, and I have to push it down here, and then this should come out now, and that's the fitting there. Now I have to just cut this away here because it's old and brittle, and then I'll take the good end of the hose that I cut off and reattach it. That should at least fix this little kink here issue. Hose is old and brittle. I should probably replace it, but not sure if we'll do that today. We'll have to assess.
This little Dremel tool with a cutting wheel comes in real handy to cut off old hoses. Well, I found that the fittings were also brittle, especially on the deck side, so I decided to replace the hose and the fittings and do it right.
Well, I decided to do it right and remove the hose. They didn't have the same hose at West Marine, so I got this other hose. It should be just fine. It's for water and 200 pounds per square inch. It's not that pressurized in there. It's black, and I've been leaving it out for a little while in the sun here, so it's nice and pliable. Should be easy to get in place there and hook it up. All right, Lulu, what's going on here?
We are backpacking our meats for the summer.
Backpacking.
Yeah, backpacking.
Vacuum packing
Backpacking.
with a sealer.
With a sealer, so our meat stays fresh at least for a couple months. I think we bought enough to get us through at least a month to get up there, and then we will go to the store when we get up there and restock it.
Sounds good. Pork, chicken, ground beef, steak. Think we have enough?
I think we'll have enough. Then you can have peanut butter and jelly on the side.
Excellent. Here's our little stash here. Someone has been watching this and crying because she wants some meat. Cakes. Pancake. Pancake. Okay, we are back in the front hatch again, and as you could see, there is water down there again. So I had fixed this this hose here that was leaking on the bottom. I was thinking that was the problem. It definitely was a problem, but obviously not the problem. So now I've got some more work to do. First, I gotta sponge this water out. So it looks like, so we're in the back of the shower here, and this is to the, I guess the diverter valve, the hot line, the cold line, the line up to the shower head. And if you could see there, it's dripping right over there on the supply line side, which is around this filter here, right over here. And that's definitely dripping. That's definitely a problem. And I was able, the local supply store, just get one of these new connectors here, the same exact connector. And each side fits in their push lock connectors. Under pressure they hold up really well, and there's an O-ring, a little O-ring in each of these inlets or outlets here. And chances are this one here looks so old, it's probably 15, 20 years old, probably as old as the boat. They're probably dried out, they're bad. So I'm gonna take this filter off here to access behind it and hopefully just replace this. Things never go as easy as you think though, but hopefully that is the problem here. Otherwise, I got more problems on my hands. So it's rained a lot last night, and fixed that leak, or the second part of the leak. Let's take a look and see if it did the trick. Open this hatch here. Looky, looky, bone dry. Bone dry. Yes. I think we finally slayed this dragon. The rain didn't get in. Perfect, perfect. About time. So one thing I found about Daytona is it's super convenient. There's boating supply stores a couple miles from the marina, and car rental. And I'm off to the airport because we found that you can rent a car for like $23.99 a day. So that is what I'm doing. Lori's headed up to Pittsburgh for graduation, and I'm here for 3 days. And this car is going to be a nice little thing to have for a couple days because we already dropped off our car. So the convenience factor is very high.
And while Lori's gone, I have chores to do to get the boat ready to leave. One of them is defrosting the freezer and refrigerator, which we have to do about every 3 weeks. Now's a great time while we're still in a marina. Blow dryer is the tool of choice, but you want to be careful not to burn the inside of the refrigerator. So that pretty much completes our maintenance tasks. When Lori gets back tomorrow, I pick her up at the airport, and we're taking off for St. Augustine. We're hoping to make it up to Rhode Island in the next 20-25 days.